What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mo Power 1500 back at it again with another video. Let's get it. Once again, that's Mo Power on Instagram, Red Key TV on YouTube. So make sure that y'all check your boy out. If you clicked on this video, you were here for the Adrenaline Off-Road 40 amp power controller. So we're gonna get right into that. Let me just go ahead and state I am not sponsored by them. So the review on this will be 100% my ideas, what I did like, what I don't like about the controller. So let's get right into it. Let's get it. So here we go right here with the Adrenaline Off-Road 40 amp power controller. Has your inputs right there. There are 4 different inputs for you to be able to control with this controller. It does come with this remote right here that you can use to control what you put for the input. So right now, currently, what I have inputted on here, those 3 lights have 1 input. I actually have this, I built my own custom underglow. Let's do a little bit of focusing. Yeah, I built my own custom underglow under here. So this front bar is by itself, and then the rest of it goes around the truck. And I have rock lights, but those are also tapped in to where the underglow is. I'm gonna take my rock lights off and put them elsewhere because I have, like you can see that LED. I have a whole strip of LED that actually does me great lighting underneath the truck. I actually love it. But back to what the video is for. This controller, you have A, cuts it on, B, goes through the different modes, and what it'll do is it will cycle through the different outputs that you have there, and it'll let it do different little controls. It'll give you different speeds, and you just press it again and it'll do a different one. And from what I've counted, I want to say that there are like 9 or 10 different patterns that this thing actually goes through, and that's without me having all of the inputs connected to something individual. So in a little bit, I will be building my own custom rock lights. I mean, not rock lights. I will be building my own custom wheel lights. So that'll be something else that'll be ran on its own input. But as you can see, it controls those inputs very, very well. It'll allow it to do different things. So you can see that front, those front lights and that front bar that I have are on its own input, and then everything else is on a different one. So I like this controller. I give this controller a 9 out of 10, especially if you're doing a simple way that you want to be able to cut on everything and cut off everything at one simple point. Now, what I mean by this is, like, a lot of these controllers out here, you have to go to different apps to cut everything on. So if you have something that can sync it all into one and you just cut it on, that would be great for a lot of people. So that's what I like with these, because since I'm making my own custom lighting, a lot of it is just power and ground to the individual lighting. So once I did that, I needed a way to be able to control it. Now, what I did have in there is a regular on and off switch. With the on and off switch, the only thing that happens is you get on and you go off. This gives me different patterns, so I can leave the truck doing different things, different designs. So it gives me a couple more options. The other thing with my manual disconnect switch is I actually routed it in conjunction with this controller. So I have a manual disconnect switch in there that the power goes to that switch first and then goes to the Adrenaline Off-Road controller, so I can turn this on and off manually from without the remote, as long as I leave the remote in the on position. Why won't you focus? Come on. Well, so those are the things that I do like about it. Things that I do not like about the controller, because remember I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I'll give you the reasons why it is a 9 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10 because this controller does not always work. There's a bunch of times where I end up hitting the button a bunch of times. Now, right now, it's responding great. It's getting great signal. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'll go through everything. D cuts it off. A cuts it on. B goes through the different patterns. You keep continuing to hit B to do the different patterns that you want to go through. And then C takes you back to solid. So if you're doing patterns and you need to go back solid, you hit C, that'll take you back out of the patterns. and then D cuts it off. So controller works sometimes great, gets great signal. Like you can see right now, the hood is up, but I can step and get some distance in between it. Hood's down, and I may not get the greatest connection. And you're not running these things anywhere where it's going to be outside of the truck. Still need it in a place where you don't get water intrusion to mess up all the circuitry. So that was one of the down parts that I didn't like about it. But I mean, that happens. And generally I have to walk back and hit the button a couple of times and eventually it'll respond. But right now, see, right now I'm hitting D, even the hood's up and it's not responding. And D is the one that you want to cut it off to see if it does anything else. Bravo is what goes through the patterns. There we go. See how many times I just had to hit it. So that was one of the downsides to having this controller. And it's not a complete negative, like, oh my gosh, because that'll happen. Distance and control will happen with just about any controller that's sending a signal. But that's what I didn't like. Sometimes it has that happen and it takes a little while for you to actually get it to work and do what you're asking it to do. There we go. Get a better angle, and it finally cut off. And then the one other thing that I didn't like was they only sent me one controller. I have multiple sets of keys. This battery dies in this set of keys. I go pick up the other set of keys. I no longer have this controller. So that's one thing that I didn't like. I was like, hey, you know, why didn't I get multiple controllers? But that's something that I guess Adrenaline Off-Road would have to, you know, I'd have to address with them and ask a question. Once again, not sponsored by them. Overall, this product is really good. I've had it for probably about a month and a half, almost 2 months now. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to verify that this product was good before I came and did a review. A lot of people grab a product, let's open it up, let's unbox it, and let's put it in, and then they tell you what they think of it immediately, and then they don't have any time in with the product. I have had time in with this product, 9 out of 10 overall, really like it. I will link their, I'll put their link in the description below for where to get it. It's not expensive at all. This thing was about 60 bucks. With the taxes, about $60 for this with the taxes. And then I actually got the lifetime warranty. So it was $80 with the lifetime warranty. So if something happens to this, I can get it replaced, simple, and they'll just send me another one. So if you're building your own stuff or you want one point to be able to control all your lights, this is what you need to go get. It'll do the job. And I can't wait to get those wheel lights on there because this thing, it's doing a very good job for what for the price. Can't beat that. 60 bucks for this? Can't beat that. All right, guys. Well, that's the review of my Adrenaline Off-Road controller, the 40 amp power controller. Like I said, it does me everything that I needed to do right now currently with my build and what I got going on, and some of the things that I'm gonna have happening later on. I don't have a one of the 8-piece controllers, you know, that everybody puts in, you know, to do underglow and fog lights and rock lights and wheel lights and a light bar. I don't currently have one of those. The ones that I want are $200, $300, $400, you know, and pricey up there for them. And I'm like, hey, right now, I don't need it. I don't have my light bar yet. I don't have a bunch of things that I would use one of those other controllers for. So I'm like, hey, why not stick with one of these for right now? 60 bucks gets your job done. And then later on, I will upgrade my controller. But for 60 bucks, I'm not gonna lie, that's why it's a 9 out of 10. For the price, what you get a good little bit for that little 60 bucks. I like this truck. She's coming along quite nicely, man. Tell me what y'all think of the Adrenaline Off-Road. If you have one, if you are on the fence about getting one, if you didn't know that this thing was out there, let me know something in the comments, man. Please help me out. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, all that good jazz, man. Until next time, I'm out.